The morning sun poured through the enormous glass windows of Frank's mansion, filling every corner of the living room with warm golden light. Frank gently held his wife's hands and smiled. "My love," he said softly, "today is the beginning of your new life here. Don't be afraid. Sophia is here to help you." The young village woman nodded. "I go try my best, de mama. I no won't disappoint you." Frank kissed her forehead before picking up his briefcase. "I'll be back before dinner." She quickly held his arm. "You promise?" "I promise." Only after she smiled did Frank walk toward the front door. Sophia respectfully bowed. "Have a wonderful day, sir." Frank waved before driving away. The huge gate slowly closed behind him. The silence inside the mansion suddenly felt strange. The village bride looked around nervously. "So, not only me and you remain for this big house?" Sophia smiled. "Yes, ma'am." She folded her wrapper tightly. "No worry. We go manage." Sophia laughed gently. "Shall we begin?" The village woman nodded with determination. "I ready." Sophia led her into the kitchen. The village wife stopped immediately. Every appliance looked like magic. So many cupboard, so many button. America no easy. Sophia opened the refrigerator. Cold air rushed out. The village woman screamed, "Jesus!" She jumped backwards. The cupboard day breathed cold. Sophia burst into laughter. "No, ma'am. This is the refrigerator. It keeps food fresh." The village woman slowly touched the cold shelf. "Not only box be this?" "Yes." "Chai." She shook her head. "If person carry this thing reach my village, them go call village meeting." Sophia couldn't stop laughing. Next came the microwave. Sophia placed food inside, closed the door, pressed a button. The plate began turning. The village woman hid behind the dining table. "Ide rotate." Sophia smiled. "It's cooking." "Without fire?" "Yes." The village wife covered her mouth. "America get power." Sophia patiently explained every machine. The dishwasher, the blender, the coffee maker, the vacuum cleaner. Every single one surprised the village woman. When Sophia switched on the vacuum cleaner, VRRRRRR, the machine roared. The village wife shouted, "Snake!" She climbed onto the sofa. Sophia quickly switched it off. "No, ma'am. It only cleans dust." The young wife slowly climbed down. This country, even broom get engine. Hours passed. Little by little, she began learning how to wash dishes, how to use the washing machine, how to dry clothes, how to set the dining table. Although she made many mistakes, she never complained. "I go learn. I must learn. I know fit make my husband regret marrying me." Sophia secretly admired her. Many educated women refused to learn. But this village woman had one thing nobody could teach: a willing heart. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, back in Nigeria, Ibuka woke up unusually late. He rubbed his forehead. "My head. It heavy today." He looked around his room. For a brief second, everything seemed unfamiliar. He frowned. "Why I day feel somehow?" He couldn't explain it. The strange feeling disappeared as quickly as it came. He stood up, packed his small traveling bag. Today, he would return to Lagos. Outside, Nika watched from behind the curtain. A wicked smile spread across her face. "Mama, E-day start." Her mother slowly nodded. "I tell you, the juju never fail." They both laughed quietly. Ibuka entered the sitting room. "Mom, I'm ready." His mother smiled warmly. "My son, eat breakfast before you travel." He sat down. As he looked at the food, a strange image flashed across his mind. A young woman's face, smiling, then gone. He held his head. "Who?" He frowned. "Forget M." The feeling disappeared again. Far away in America, Sophia finished the final lesson. "Congratulations. You've done very well today." The village bride smiled proudly. "So, I fit cook now?" Sophia laughed. "Yes. But let's start with something simple." The village woman folded her arms confidently.
No.
I want cook-correct soup. Sophia smiled nervously. Are you sure? Very sure. 1 hour later, the kitchen looked like a battlefield. Flour covered the floor. Vegetables were everywhere. 2 eggs had rolled beneath the cabinet. The blender lid had exploded open. Sophia stared in disbelief. The village wife smiled proudly. I think say they go well. Sophia blinked. We'll clean later. That evening, Frank returned home. He opened the front door. Silence. Then, a wonderful smell. He smiled. My wife cooked. He entered the dining room. The table looked beautiful. His wife stood proudly beside it. I cook by myself. You serious? Yes. Sophia only watch. Frank tasted the soup. His eyes widened. It's delicious. Her face lit up. You like Am? I love it. She laughed happily. I tell you, say village woman sabi cook. Frank nodded. I've never doubted you. Sophia smiled quietly. The two truly loved each other. Night slowly covered the city. After dinner, Frank and his wife sat together near the large living room window. She rested her head on his shoulder. America still day fear me. Frank held her hand. You won't be afraid forever. As long as I'm with you. She smiled. I believe you. Across the ocean, darkness settled over the village. Ibuka boarded the night bus heading for Lagos. As the vehicle moved, he stared through the window. Again, that mysterious face appeared in his mind. Beautiful, kind, calling his name. Before he could remember who she was, a sharp pain struck his head. He groaned. My head. The passengers looked at him. You day okay? I think so. He closed his eyes. Slowly, the face faded. The memory disappeared once again. Far away, hidden deep inside the forest, an old shrine stood beneath ancient trees. The ritual pot suddenly bubbled. Smoke rose into the night sky. The old charm had begun to work. And somewhere in the darkness, an unseen voice whispered, the past shall be forgotten. The night settled gently over the city. From the wide glass windows of Frank's living room, countless lights stretched into the distance like tiny stars resting upon the earth. Cars moved slowly along the roads below, their headlights drawing white lines through the darkness. Everything felt peaceful. For the first time in many days, Frank allowed himself to breathe without worry. His wife rested comfortably against his shoulder. She listened to the distant sounds of the city with quiet curiosity. So many light, she whispered. Frank smiled. That's Lagos. She looked outside again. Nobi village.
No.
Village dark pass. He laughed softly. Very true. She remained silent for a while. Her fingers slowly played with his. I still day learn. And you're doing well. She looked up. You no laugh me again? I never laughed at you. You laugh when I say blender day shout. Frank burst into laughter. I wasn't laughing at you. You laugh. I laughed because you looked so serious while the blender exploded. She covered her face. Nah, bad blender. It survived. It attacked me. He laughed even harder. Sophia, passing through the hallway carrying folded towels, overheard them. She smiled to herself. Only a few weeks ago, the house had felt empty despite its expensive furniture.
Now,
it felt alive. Laughter echoed through every room. She quietly continued upstairs. After some time, Frank looked down. His wife had fallen asleep against him. A peaceful smile rested upon her face. He gently brushed a strand of hair away from her forehead. So stubborn, so brave, so innocent. He carefully lifted her into his arms. She stirred slightly. I fit Waka. I know, but let me carry you. You two spoil me. I'm your husband. She smiled without opening her eyes. He carried her upstairs. Sophia saw them from the landing. She quietly stepped aside. Frank carried his wife into their bedroom and carefully placed her on the bed. Within minutes, she was deeply asleep. Frank switched off the bedside lamp. Outside, clouds slowly covered the moon. Hours later, around 2 in the morning, she suddenly sat upright. Her breathing became heavy. Her eyes remained closed. Yet, she whispered, "Don't go." Her hands reached into empty air. "No. Stay." Frank slowly opened his eyes. He looked at her. "My love." She didn't answer.
She was still asleep.
Sweat covered her forehead.
Then
She whispered another name. Ibuka. Frank frowned. Ibuka? He had heard that name before. Somewhere.
but where?
Before he could think further, she suddenly gasped. Her eyes flew open. She looked around the room in confusion. Frank switched on the lamp. "You okay?" She stared at him for several seconds, then quickly hugged him. "I see, bad dream." "What happened?" No. You don't remember?" She shook her head. "I just a fear." Frank gently rubbed her back. "It was only a dream." She nodded slowly. "But I feel real." He kissed her forehead. "You're safe." She closed her eyes again.
Safe.
That word slowly calmed her heart. Yet, long after Frank had fallen asleep, once more, she remained awake. Something deep inside her refused to rest. At exactly the same moment, hundreds of kilometers away, the night bus rolled into Lagos. Passengers stretched their tired bodies as the vehicle entered the crowded terminal. Ibuka slowly stood. His head still ached. The pain had lessened, but it never completely disappeared. He picked up his small travel bag. As he stepped down from the bus, someone called behind him, "Young man." Ibuka turned. An elderly traveler slowly approached him. Gray beard, kind eyes, simple clothes. The old man smiled gently. Remember me?" Ibuka frowned. "I'm sorry. I don't." The old man studied him carefully. I thought so." "What do you mean?" "You've forgotten." Ibuka's heartbeat increased. "Forgotten what?" The old man sighed. "Nothing." He turned to leave. Ibuka quickly stopped him. "Wait.
Please.
If you know something." The old man looked back. "Tell me." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Finally, the old man asked, "Have you been having headaches?" Ibuka froze. "How you know?" "Dreams." Ibuka swallowed. "Yes." "Someone calling your name?" His breathing became uneven. "Who are you?" The old man didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached into his pocket. He removed a small carved wooden bead. He handed it to Ibuka. "Keep this." "What is it?" "If your memory begins returning, you'll need it." Ibuka stared at the strange carving. It looked ancient, almost familiar. Before he could ask another question, the old man disappeared into the crowd. "Aya!" Ibuka shouted. "Baba!" But thousands of people moved between them. Within seconds, the stranger was gone. Ibuka looked down at the wooden bead. Something about it made his heart race. Far inside the ancient forest, the shrine remained awake. The ritual fire refused to die. Instead, its flames burned blue. The old priestess stood silently before the sacred pot. The bubbling had not stopped. That had never happened before. Never. Her assistant approached nervously. "Mama?" She didn't answer. "Mama?" Finally, she spoke. "The charm is resisting." The younger woman looked frightened. "Resisting?" "Yes. It should have ended, but it hasn't." The smoke continued rising.
Slowly, steadily.
Almost as though it possessed a life of its own. The priestess closed her eyes. She listened carefully.
Then
her expression changed. "No, it cannot be." "What?" "He isn't forgetting." The assistant's face turned pale. But the sacrifice was complete. The ritual accepted. The ancestors answered. The old priestess slowly shook her head. "Something stronger protects him." A cold wind swept through the shrine. The fire suddenly leaned sideways without anyone touching it. The old woman stepped backward. "This has become dangerous." "What do we do?" She stared into the dancing flames. "Find them."
who?
"The man. And the woman. If their memories return together." She paused. "The spell will die." Silence filled the shrine. Even the insects had stopped singing. The old priestess whispered, "We cannot allow that." Morning arrived. Golden sunlight entered Frank's bedroom. Birds sang outside. Frank stretched happily. He turned toward his wife. She wasn't there. He smiled. Probably in the kitchen again. He walked downstairs. Immediately, he smelled fried plantain, egg sauce, fresh bread. Sophia stood near the stove. Frank looked around. "Where's my wife?" Sophia pointed toward the backyard. "She's talking to the gardener." Frank stepped outside. His wife stood beside colorful flowers. She held a small watering can. The gardener patiently explained each plant. She listened carefully. "This one no like too much water." She nodded seriously. "If I give plenty, e go die." Her eyes widened. "So flower fit drown?" The gardener laughed. "Yes." She looked shocked. Frank smiled. "What happened?" She turned. "Flower fit drown. I just learned." Frank chuckled. "I've been telling people that for years." She folded her arms. "Nobody tell me." He walked over. "Good morning." She smiled brightly. "Morning."
Then,
Without warning, her smile faded. She stared past Frank, toward the front gate. Her expression became strangely blank. Frank noticed immediately. "What is it?" She didn't answer. A black car slowly drove past the house. Its windows were completely tinted. The vehicle continued down the street. She kept watching until it disappeared. Frank followed her gaze. "You know that car?" She slowly shook her head.
no.
"But it feels strange." Sophia had also noticed. She quietly memorized the car, just in case. Across Lagos, Ibuka rented a tiny room in a crowded neighborhood. The landlord handed him a rusty key. Bathroom outside. Water morning only. No fighting. Ibuka nodded. "I understand." He entered the room. One bed, one chair, one window, nothing else. He placed his bag on the floor.
Then,
He removed the wooden bead.
again.
It felt familiar. He held it tightly. Instantly, a flash crossed his mind. A young woman laughing, running beside a river, calling. The vision disappeared. His headache returned with terrible force. He fell to his knees. "No, please." "I almost remember." Tears filled his eyes. But the memory vanished again, leaving only silence, and a single name echoing in his heart. One he still could not understand. Morning settled fully over the neighborhood. Children in neatly pressed school uniforms hurried along the sidewalks. Street vendors called out to early customers, while motorcycles buzzed through the roads with practiced ease. Inside Frank's home, breakfast had become a cheerful affair. The dining table was covered with food. Fried plantain, egg sauce,
Toast.
fresh fruit.
Tea.
Sophia placed another plate on the table and smiled. "I think Madam is becoming a proper city chef." Frank laughed. "Oh." Sophia nodded dramatically. "The kitchen is still standing." His wife pointed at Sophia with a playful grin. "You day mock me." "I would never." "You day laugh inside your heart." Sophia pressed a hand to her chest. "I promise I'm innocent." Frank chuckled. "I don't know whether to believe either of you." His wife proudly folded her arms. "Today food no fight me." "The blender survived? It fear me now." The three of them burst into laughter. For a little while, the strange feeling from the previous night seemed to disappear. Peace returned. After breakfast, Frank prepared to leave for work. He adjusted his tie while standing before the hallway mirror. His wife watched him closely. "You go come quick today?" "I'll try." "No stay office till night." "I won't." "You promise?" "I promise." She nodded, satisfied. Then she carefully straightened his tie. One side was slightly crooked. "There. Now you fine." Frank smiled. "So, I wasn't handsome before?" "You be. But tie spoil everything." Sophia laughed from the kitchen. Frank shook his head with mock defeat. "My wife has become my fashion inspector." She grinned. "I serious." He leaned forward and kissed her forehead. "Take care of yourself. You too." As he walked toward the front door, he paused. The image of the black car from earlier returned to his mind. He looked through the window toward the street. Nothing. Just neighbors beginning their day. Still, something felt off. He made a mental note to speak with the estate security later. Then he left. Not long after Frank drove away, Sophia suggested a walk around the neighborhood. It'll help you learn the area. His wife's eyes sparkled. We fit, Waka? Of course. But not too far. She quickly disappeared upstairs. Moments later, she returned carrying a small handbag. Sophia smiled. Ready. I born ready. What does that even mean? I hear am for television. Sophia laughed. You'll fit in just fine. They stepped outside together. The morning breeze carried the scent of flowers and freshly baked bread from a nearby bakery. Everything fascinated the village woman. Tall buildings, traffic lights, glass offices, people speaking into wireless earphones. She stopped in front of a supermarket. So big. Sophia nodded. Want to go inside? Her face lit up. Yes. Inside. She stood frozen. The shelves seemed endless.
Rice, soap, drinks,
Vegetables, cleaning supplies. Everything was arranged neatly. She slowly pushed a shopping cart. This place pass market. It does. No person day shout. No bargaining either. Her eyes widened. No bargain. You pay the price you see. She frowned. How person go survive? Sophia laughed. You get used to it. They wandered through the aisles. At one point, she picked up a box of cereal. A smiling cartoon tiger stared back at her. She examined it carefully. This tiger day inside? Sophia blinked. What? The tiger.
no.
So why day smile? It's just the picture.
Oh,
She placed it back. A little boy nearby giggled. His mother apologized. I'm sorry, but Frank's wife smiled warmly. No worry. She winked at the child. The boy smiled back. Sophia noticed something. People naturally liked her. Her innocence wasn't foolishness. It was genuine, and people could feel it. Meanwhile, across another part of Lagos, Ibuka wandered through crowded streets searching for work. Construction sites, warehouses, mechanic shops, restaurants. Everywhere he went, the answer was the same. We're full. No vacancy. Come back next month. By noon, sweat soaked his shirt. His stomach growled. He counted the money in his pocket. Not much remained. He sighed. I must find something today. As he continued walking, a familiar voice called out. Young man. Ibuka turned sharply. The elderly traveler from the bus stood beneath a mango tree. This time, he didn't disappear. You. The old man smiled. I've been looking for you. Who are you? My name is Ease. You know me? I know more than you remember. Ibuka stepped closer. What happened to my memory? Ease looked around before answering. Not here. He pointed toward a nearby tea stall. Come. Reluctantly, Ibuka followed. They sat on wooden benches beneath a faded umbrella. The tea seller poured 2 steaming cups. For a moment, neither man spoke. Finally, Ease asked quietly, when did the headaches begin? I don't know. And the dreams? Maybe weeks ago. What do you see? Ibuka lowered his voice. A woman. What does she look like? I can't remember clearly. Only her smile. And sometimes, he hesitated. I hear her crying. Ease's expression darkened. Do you know her name? Ibuka closed his eyes. I almost do. But every time I reach it, my head feels like it's splitting open. Ease nodded slowly. As I feared. Ibuka leaned forward. Please. Tell me the truth. Ease looked into his eyes. The truth may put your life in danger. My life already feels empty. The old man sighed. You were not meant to forget. Those words struck Ibuka like thunder. What? Someone wanted your memories buried. Ibuka's heartbeat quickened. Who? Before Ease could answer, a motorcycle sped past. 2 riders, both wearing black helmets. The passenger glanced directly at Ease, then at Ibuka. The motorcycle slowed for only a second, then continued down the road. Ease's face became tense. We have to leave.
why?
They've found you. Back at Frank's house, the afternoon sun warmed the garden. Sophia arranged fresh flowers inside glass vases. Frank's wife watered the plants exactly as the gardener had instructed. Small water. No drowned flower. She nodded proudly to herself. Suddenly, she heard laughter.
Soft.
Familiar. She looked toward the far end of the garden. No one. Again, the laughter came. A young woman's laughter. Gentle. Almost musical. She slowly walked toward the hedge. Sophia? No answer. The laughter stopped. She reached the hedge and looked around. Empty. Only flowers moving gently in the breeze. A strange sadness settled over her. Without knowing why, tears filled her eyes. Someone had laughed like that before. Someone important. She couldn't remember who. She pressed a hand against her chest. Who are you? There was only silence. Sophia noticed her standing motionless. Madam. She turned quickly. Are you all right? She forced a smile. I hear a person laugh. Sophia looked around. I didn't hear anyone. She hesitated. Maybe not bird. But deep inside, she knew it hadn't been a bird. It had sounded painfully familiar. Several streets away, parked beneath the shade of a large tree, the same black car remained motionless. The windows were still too dark to see inside. A camera lens slowly emerged through a barely opened window.
Click, click, click.
Photographs were taken of Frank's house, the gate, the garden, the security post, and finally, Frank's wife standing beside the flowers. Inside the car, a man's low voice broke the silence. We found her. Another voice answered through a small radio. Positive identification? The first man stared at the latest photograph. There was no doubt. The target is alive. A brief pause followed. Then the reply came. Do not engage. Observe only. We want to know whether she remembers. The radio went silent. The man lowered the camera. His eyes never left the house. Far away, hidden beneath ancient trees, the old shrine's fire flared without warning. The old priestess slowly opened her eyes. They've seen her. Her assistant shivered. Should we bring her back? The old woman looked into the blue flames.
No.
Not yet. Fear will awaken memory faster than force. She tightened her grip on her carved staff. And when the memories return, her voice fell to a whisper. The past will come looking for them all.